Okay.
Greetings, greetings, greetings. You are now tuned into the vault. Trust Christian, know nothing, control everything. Just want to thank you for tuning in live, listening to replay. Always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay. This is the vault. This is a special episode, a special trustee training class with Dr. Bay, and we're going to talk about some very important topics today. So, Dr. Bay, thank you for coming our way.
Oh, you're more than welcome.
We got Dr. Bay coming our way. Please feel free to hit the like and the subscribe today. We always appreciate everybody that tunes in live, listens in the replay, and definitely appreciate you hitting the like and the subscribe, getting all notifications of when we go live. So this special trustee training class with Dr. Bay is an interesting class today because most people don't know the information that we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about it because it's the reason for being. What's your reason for being here on planet Earth? Oh man, trust Christian in the vault. What do you mean? Ladies and gentlemen, we have people come to us all the time and they have questions for their children's and themselves. Purpose. Most people on the public side call it a purpose. I would like to say it's called your reason for being. So, Dr. Bay, is does each human life have a reason for being, or can one be skipped?
Each person has it now. The challenge is that most people don't know they got it, and let's only know what it is.
Okay, we're going into it pretty early, so there's these spiritual energies that people have inside of them, correct?
Absolutely.
And so one of them is their reason for being. It's almost like if we had to ask them, do you think there's a law governing your being? And most people would agree that there's a law governing their being. So how is that different from their reason for being, Dr. B?
I'm not clear on your
No worries.
statement that.
No worries,
Go ahead.
Dr. B. No worries. So when it comes to our reason for beings, we're not going to reveal too much information. You all can feel free to reach out. Dr. Bay and us are going to hold that private class where we go over how to make sure you're clear on the reason for being, how to implement the strategy. But somehow, Dr. Bay, you say people don't know. So once they know, they need to know more. Christian at trustchristian.com.
Absolutely.
Feel free to reach out. Christian at trustchristian.com. Well, could you tell us about your reason for being?
Okay, my reason for being is the reason for being that has caused the world to be in the shape it's in. Um, and people that have that reason for being may have it in different aspects. There are different logical and emotional aspects. I happen to have it in a logical aspect, not that strongly in the emotional aspect, but I have both aspects. Um, so, a person that was born to be a leader will find themselves, whether they know it or not, asked or put or seeking a leadership position. And it is very difficult for a person whose purpose here on earth to lead to not end up in a leadership position at one point or one time or another. And since there are 9 different positions, it is important that you know which one of those 9 positions is yours
Right.
or that you're in.
Okay. So, what about mine? Share what your thoughts on my reason for being.
see, did I remember your reason for being? I
You know what it is?
did a whole four.
Yes.
Um, that energy is designed purposely to work and organize and structure things. And so when you have such an energy, your major aspect of your life should be organizing things. Um, it also should be sticking with something and seeing it all the way through. Sometimes people with that energy even stick with stuff too long, but that's the aspect of it that you need to know, and you need to know whether it's an emotional or a logical aspect of you. But usually and almost always, your reason for being is a logical aspect more so than an emotional aspect.
Hmm. Interesting. Do you think there's a thought behind that, or any further thought on that? Okay. Dr. Bay?
Did that answer your question?
Yes, that's fine, Dr. Bay. So yeah, that's fine. Uh, okay, so we were talking about the reason for being, and we were talking about that reason for being, and that's why we say it's important to get involved in the training, or come around and reach out Christian at trustchristian.com so you can come to at least the one training class. So it's interesting, Dr. Bay, when you talk about all these different things, and so many people say, "Oh, I don't know that I didn't know." Well, let's go back to this thing called belief and recall, the two systems that have been put in place. Now, this is for the elders, the repair the elders, because they say, "Oh, I know the information, but I'm not acting on it." Okay, well, if you know better, you're supposed to do better, right? And then many are you flailing out the wind or not? Okay, so let's see. Are we here, Dr. Bay?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm here.
Dr. Bay, I want you to elaborate more on this whole reason for being thing.
Well, if you understand that the sole purpose for you being here is to accomplish a certain mission, and if you understand that there are 22 master spiritual laws, and the first law is the law of the reason for being, and that is true with everybody and everything. It has a reason for being. Now, if you don't know that you have a reason, and most people don't, then there is a state of feelings and confusions and programming. In other words, somebody can program you, tell you you're this or you're that or the other, and you may turn around and believe that that's accurate. And it may have nothing to do with your reason for being. It could even be the exact opposite of your personal reason for being. So it is a very much a huge challenge from more than one perspective. You having a reason for being, and that reason for being known by you, and more importantly, practiced by you every
Practice?
day and every day.
Practiced?
Yes.
Okay. Could you talk about the power of visualization and practicing visualization? Uh-oh, there's an echo.
That just involves a whole bunch of things.
Okay.
Does not involve just one aspect of it.
Okay.
Literally involves every aspect of it.
Right. And that's why we want to talk about it because it's so powerful to do.
Yeah. Well, until one gets to know their reason for being. And the interesting thing about it, most people that I have ever worked with and shown them their reason for being said at one point in time that they felt it. Did you feel your reason for being,
When you say
even though you?
when you say feel it, it definitely communicated itself in the demands that I demanded from the universe via structure and organization just in everyday life. So that demand was there from the youth. And so that's the reason for being speaking. It's not me speaking, quote unquote, but it is definitely the reason for being like, okay, the best way to operate is you having a set schedule, you having high levels of structure, you having high levels of organization. Yeah. And then as you get older, you start
But
seeing that act out in your life. But even when we talk about when you say, well, you're supposed to be doing your reason for being, and that's how you're going to grow your wealth. Well, it just seems as though there's so many opportunities to do the reason for being. It's almost like, how do you not get wealthy? But then I also appreciate you sharing that, hey, with that energy, you just want to make sure that you commit to deadlines, finish projects, stop projects, be comfortable with stopping projects when they're not working for you, things of that nature. Those things are important as an investor or business person overall. So definitely appreciate you mentioning that.
yes, and if you know why you're here, then the next big challenge is the example I like to give is this. Let's say that you're on Earth and your purpose is to go to the North Pole, but you head east. You can go all around the world 50, 11 times and never get there. If you head west, you can do the same thing. If you head south, you can go almost all around the world, but you will finally get there. So if you know your pathway and the directions that you should take, and they're daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly, then it simplifies the whole process of doing what you should do, how to do it, when to do it, and even where to do it.
Where to do it, huh? Okay. Okay. So there's a science to this. Is it a science, Dr. Bay?
Absolutely. If you realize, and I don't know if you've noticed this, that even in certain cities you feel a certain way. When you cross a certain state line, uh, you pick up the energy of that state, and these energies are structured into something called core energy, and the understanding of them is a huge aspect of not just knowing your reason for being, but knowing what pathway you must follow in order to get to it.
That's a good point, Dr. Bay. Appreciate you for sharing that point when you say you got to know your pathway, but we need you to go deeper than that.
Well, to go deeper than that truthfully speaking, they really need to get with you and get involved in the process. But like you said, I have a private aspect of what I have.
Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate everybody for reaching out. Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. This is the special trustee training class with Dr. Bay. We definitely want to have him on and talk to him about, You can feel free to type into the chat any questions you have. Feel free to type into the chat any questions you may have. These questions are for Dr. Bay or for myself. Appreciate everybody for tuning in live, listening to replay. Alrighty, trustee training class with Dr. Bay. Dr. Bay, so if we were to say, okay, somebody needs to start anywhere in trusteeship, where would they need to start? Outside of a consultation
At the
with you.
begin, at the beginning, and all of that will be outlined as you get involved. That's just like asking. Let's compare it with something people are used to, which is a school. Where would you begin? First grade, kindergarten, nursery school, and then you go through different stages of it. And it's not a da 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 type thing. We want you to know, because if you know, then you can demonstrate and show.
Right.
And if you're dealing with people that know, they can demonstrate and show. They don't want you to believe. They can show you that what they're saying happens. And if it only works sometimes, that means that it is not what it is divinely designed to do, because righteous things that are divinely designed to do what they do work the same way all the time. Always work. And so most people don't realize that if something works sometime, then it is not what you're supposed to be doing. You're supposed to have things that work all the time. For an example, water is wet all the time. Is that true?
Yeah.
Fire is hot all the time.
Right, for the most part.
You've seen some cold fire, huh?
No, I ain't seen no cold fire.
Now, there are different temperatures of fire,
Yeah.
but it's hot. And we got to realize that in knowing our reasons for being, what to do about it should be a system that works all the time. I was talking to somebody, and maybe I shouldn't touch on this, but I'll mention it, about prayer and whether they always get everything they pray for. They said, no, but I do get some things, man. But we have to realize that if it's a system that works, it works all the time.
Correct.
If it's not working properly, then it don't work all the time. But if it's working properly, it works all the time, every time.
Right. On time. Okay. We wish you Dr. Bay say it works all the time. Okay. You there?
Yes,
I said it works all the time. Okay.
yes.
See, these are the things you do where you almost promise and guarantee, Dr. Bay. You give people guarantees, huh?
So there is a guarantee, and it is based on things working. See, we've been, like you said, we've been programmed to. And what was said for us to recall does not have to be in our reason for being. or even accurate in the first place.
Right. Well, that's why we got to know our reason for being, Dr. B, so we can be at least become competent at the number, correct?
Right. And that's
Right.
the reason why you need to know and not believe. Because there is a major difference
Between recalling and
spiritually.
belief.
Yes, if you believe something, it means that you cannot demonstrate it, and nobody you know can demonstrate or show. Just like, but if you know something, in other words, you may know people can swim. You go to, and other people may not believe they can. You can take them to a swimming pool and show them that people can swim underwater and on top of the water. And once they see it, they don't have to believe it. They know it now. They may not know that a person can get in and fly an airplane. But you can take them to an airport. That is definitely if you put them on the plane. Once they get in there and see the plane take off and you get in the air and all that, you now know. You ain't believing something. You know something. And so we want things that you know, that you can demonstrate, that you can show, that will cause you to be the way you need to be in every situation, night and day, and know that you're on earth for a purpose. And that purpose is divinely designed to benefit present and future generations. Somebody once asked me, so, how can you benefit future generations? I said, let's think of the inventions, as we call them. We've taken things that already existed, but nothing hasn't already existed. Everything that the phone is made out of it that always existed. The electricity that it is attaching itself to at a certain vibration has always existed. So if it's always existed, it's just a matter of you finding what you need to connect that will embed yourself, present and future generations. And do it in a righteous way, because you can use a phone in an unrighteous way.
Right. Okay. So it's important to notice the righteous side and the unrighteous side of your reason for being. Would you say that much?
Absolutely.
Would you talk about that?
Well, the righteous side, let's take pure four. The righteous side of that four is to organize and structure. But is it organizing and structuring thing in a righteous way, which is to benefit all, or is it in an unrighteous way? To only benefit you or somebody that you want to benefit, but detrimental to others.
Okay.
It is so important that we realize powers that we got in our reason for being, our pathway, how your thoughts and based on them and subsequent action based on them can cause an enormous amount of benefit for you and them in every way, every day. So they should get in touch with you so that they can get this demonstrative wisdom that they can know is true and not have to believe because they can demonstrate and show it's true. They learn to do.
When you say demonstrate and show, demonstrate and show means that they physically gonna see something, Dr. B. Is that true?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. Okay. Well, a lot of people they want to know how to demonstrate and show. What are they talking about? Because a lot of people don't even know what meditation is. It's a spooky thing, Dr. B. People are supposed to be meditating every day, but then somehow they don't know how to do that. And so a lot of people have issues with it. And so it's important to be able to explain something very simple.
Well, and be able to demonstrate and show that it works.
Correct.
It's just like I talk about my daughter that's talking about the anxiety that she was picking up based on her job. And I told her about a meditation, a 2 second meditation. She did that meditation, and that evening when she got off work, she called me screaming, "Daddy, it worked. It worked." We've got to realize that anything in a system, all of the things are in place. It always works. It's just like you. If your heart, kidneys, lungs, and liver, and all of the aspects of you is in place, it works. And it works automatically. You don't have to tell your heart to beat or your brain to produce the electricity and all of the other things that the various glands and organs in your body do. They're on automatic pilot. And so your life should be developed. And this is no data type information. This information involves showing or knowing and showing or showing and knowing. So, or we want you to know. So you can know what to do, benefit yourself and others too, present and future generations. And just like I was saying about future generations, the light bulb, it didn't stop with Edison and Lewis. How many generations has it been? And on and on and on and on and on and on and on.
It's only been 3 or 4, Dr. B. It hasn't been that many. It's only been 3 or 4.
I know, but it involves present and future generations.
That's fair enough to say.
It involves, and so, and we don't know how many future generations it will involve.
Right. That's fair.
So one needs to do things that is literally going to benefit themselves and others too, present and future generations, as they do what they need to do to benefit themselves and others too. And that's what they can get into touch with you, and I can definitely show them what to do.
That's definitely important, Dr. B. Know you as that come through kind of guy. So it's always appreciated to have you do what you do. Dr. B is definitely somebody that when we say get around a wealth of knowledge, financial knowledge, spiritual knowledge, health knowledge, we talk about wisdom, talking about doing it through accurate, demonstratable methods, you being able to learn how to utilize your mind, like you say, in a thinking manner, not just in a recall manner. Who implemented the recall and belief system, Dr. B?
Well, who implemented it? It always existed.
I said, who implemented the best then?
Well, I really don't know the answer to that because it
Okay.
always exists.
Okay.
Everything, everything has a recall to it. You think an apple seed doesn't have a recall to it? And what watermelon seed doesn't have a recall to it?
Okay. Well, we know now that it has a recall to it. So, Dr. Bay, we're just going to go back to something rather important. I know we're jumping around here. People, just stay with us. Dr. Bay, how powerful is the mind? And is the mind separate from our body? Is the mind separate from our spirit? When we say mind, are we talking about our brain? Please clarify that.
Okay, that's really one of my top classes, and I really don't get into that
Okay.
unless you are a member of
Okay.
what we're doing.
Didn't know that that was going to happen, but okay. Thank you for everybody tuning in live. You can reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. We can get into that class with Dr. Bay. So, go ahead, Dr. Bay. I guess that's the
I'll
different.
say I'll say this: there are 11 insights. The first one is the mind.
Oh, it just happened to be the first one.
Yes,
Okay, what's so significant about the mind, Dr. Bay?
they got to come find out.
They got to come find out. Okay. Well, is the brain the mind?
No,
Okay, the brain is not the mind. So everybody knows when you say, "Oh, your brain this, your brain that," it's not your mind. Okay. So is the
right?
mind
You
is
can get knocked out. Your brain can stop. Well, you can get killed and your brain can stop working. You can. That doesn't mean that your mind is down.
because your mind is spirit?
Absolutely,
Okay. Okay. So it could transfer into another body.
absolutely.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, now you know. If you want to change, we're just joking with you because we can have a funny laugh. But Dr. Bay is someone that we take very seriously when it comes to working with this style of information and talking about yourself. And so we would love to have some interaction. So feel free to type into the chat. Dr. Bay, would you be open to doing a few readings on a few people's birthday? I guess no. We would.
Yeah, yeah.
You
Maybe I would rather do the name and birthday than the birthday.
You sure? I think the name and birth would be challenging for them to type it in through the internet if they were really going to be open to doing that.
Well, no, I think both of them should be a member for me to get in. But the name, the birth, the name and birth, and their reasons for being, and all are part of your reason for being at this time. Because there's something beyond just your reason for being.
And
Why
that,
are you on Earth when there's a car? Why are you on Earth when there's a truck? At one time, people on Earth, and it wasn't a car and it wasn't a truck. Why are you on Earth when there's a cell phone?
okay,
You have a reason for being, but you have a reason for being on Earth at this time.
okay. Well, if anyone would like to feel free to type their, we'll say your birth name, first name, into the chat. Feel free to type it into the chat while you're live, and we'll go there with you. Uh, Definitely appreciate you for coming on live today, Dr. Bay, and doing, anything that, anyone feels free to type into the chat. Uh, But we definitely appreciate anybody that types their name into the chat. We always appreciate Dr. Bay for coming on and sharing his wisdom and knowledge. Just looking at your name, Dr. Bay can tell if you're a smooth runner, if you're wealthy or if you're healthy, if you're not, if you're going to make it, if you're not. We're just joking. Dr. Bay doesn't tell you if you're going to make it or not. But if anybody definitely wants to type their name into the chat, you can feel free because Dr. Bay, he's not playing around. Dr. Bay's a serious kind of guy. And so when we say serious, we're talking about making sure that people have accurate demonstrable knowledge. Not, oh, how do you know that? As soon as someone types their name into the chat and Dr. Bay starts speaking about it, you'll see them give confirmations or not on what Dr. Bay is talking about. So we look forward to Dr. Bay doing that. Outside of that, we definitely appreciate you for tuning in live, listening to replay. When we talk about doing the class, feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. We're gonna do a Sunday trustee training with Dr. Bay, and we might wrap the rest of the year up with Dr. Bay on that call. So just feel free to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. Once again, that's Christian at trustchristian.com, and we'll go forward from there. Uh-oh. You ready for this one, Dr. Bay? All right,
Sure, go ahead.
all right, Dr. Bay. Don't involve me in any of this, okay?
Who is me?
Me, the one you're talking to.
Oh, okay.
So when you do these readings, they're associated with everyone else. Don't associate, oh, well, you like him, and no, none of that. Just speak directly to that person. Are we on the same page?
That's what I always do.
Okay, just to let y'all know, Dr. Bay has a way of sometimes sharing similarities, you know, so it's nothing wrong with that. But here we go, Dr. Bay. This gentleman says he was born with the name Christian Goldsmith.
Okay. Well, that means that he has above average intelligence. He has the ability to communicate and will interrupt people many times and go ahead and say what he got to say. He has a very strong aspect. How's he spelling Christian? With a K or a C?
What is C? He spelled it the regular way, like regular Christians do.
Okay. So he also is very hard headed. Telling him something don't mean a thing. You got to go through it and experience it for himself. Not only that, he has such a good heart. He will do for others at his own sacrifice. And even though he tells himself he's going to quit, he keep on doing it. He even do it for people he said he wasn't going to do it no more for. But with a name like Goldstein too tied to it,
It's
he has a
Goldsmith. It's
private world.
Goldsmith. Goldsmith.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
He has a side that's tied to him that is really very, 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 very private and don't want everybody knowing certain things about him in certain ways. And he operates many times best alone. But family means an awful lot to him. And so with that energy, he will work strongly
Dr. Bay, what you got the window
in
open?
efforts.
What you doing?
But there's a truck driving past
Okay.
that making a lot of noise.
Okay, Dr. Bay, we with you though.
But I could go on, but that's just a sample of it.
Well, good. Thank you. Appreciate that, Dr. Bay.
I,
Christian
I could
Goldsmith.
spend a week on his name.
He said it was pretty good, Dr. Bay. He's kind of looked. He sent out an emoji that looked surprised. Like, how did you know? And that's why it's important to reach out Christian at trustchristian.com. When you talk about getting in contact with Dr. Bay, we actually are putting together a class right now for some people that listen to the vault. So feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com, and look forward to hearing from you all. And Dr. Bay's not just a one trick pony like, oh, I can talk to Christian Goldsmith here. He can talk to many different people. We've done previous episodes with Dr. Bay and the people that he's come in contact with. So, Dr. Bay's met many successful people in life. And, Dr. Bay wouldn't say he can touch you and say, oh, you're going to be great. But, with the Christian Goldsmith name, Dr. Bay could easily tell you, you're meant to be wealthy and powerful, easily. Dr. Bay could tell you that, but it's just one of those things where, sure, somebody can affirm that, somebody can share that with you for your reason for being. And that's very important, is to be very important and very clear about what your reason for being is. And that can be something that a lot of people don't know, and we provide that at the vault. So feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you. We look forward to seeing somebody else type their name into the chat. We like to see the Christian Goldsmith name typed into the chat. We appreciate that. Anyone else, feel free to type your name into the chat. It doesn't have to be last. You can type your first name into the chat. This is your birth name, and just really want to share with you all the Dr. Bay sharing with you all the importance of knowing your reason for being. So when we hear from you at the vault, you all know that it's time to lock in, know your reason for being, and execute that, and know that the universe is actually. So how is the universe favorable once you know your reason for being, Dr. Bay? Uh-oh. Dr. Bay. Uh-oh. Alrighty. Somebody might say, oh,
I put it because of the noise. I put my phone on mute. Didn't realize it. So I ask your question again.
I was just saying something about the reason for being, about, people being, being able to know how's that so important, or but it's fine, Dr. Bay, it's fine. Appreciate you for staying here on the line. And anybody else want to, feel free to type their name into the chat. Feel free to type their name into the chat. You can even type a child's name into the chat. Dr. Bay knows how to best talk to people that have different energies. And so it's important to hear from different people, and want to go from there. And we're really thankful that people have reached out so far. Putting together the class for trustee training for with Dr. Bay, and it's going to be really important. So we look forward to having people there. Dr. Bay's background is very vast. We always look forward to having other securities agents and people like that in the room as well. So Dr. Bay's had a bunch of dealt with that type of stuff in a previous life, quote unquote, but very familiar with it nonetheless. So definitely appreciate everyone for reaching out, tuning in live, listening to replay. Feel free to type your name into the chat, in the live chat, so we can go ahead and go over it real quick. Or in the replay, we look forward to hearing from you all. And we'll do an episode, but we definitely want to hear from you at Christian at trustchristian.com. Look forward to hearing from you all. Dr. Bay, is there anything you want to wrap up today and say?
Only that we need to learn what we know and demonstrate and show. And realize that this concept of belief means that nobody knows or can demonstrate and show. It's something they want you to take what they say and feel like it's the right way.
But Lord knows that's not the right way to go. So if you ever want to get into a system of knowing and not just believing, feel free to reach out, Christian at trustchristian.com, because the trustee training just got upgraded with Dr. Bay here now. Full time, on staff, ready to move forward with trustees. So families can enroll and knowing what they got to do or when they got to do it. And not just all questioning your trustee or your estate system now. It's spiritually, it's divinely designed. How many people can divinely design a plan? That's what Trust Christian in the Vault, that's what the Vault provides, is that divinely designed plan. And Dr. Bay is here to help now. Appreciate you, Dr. Bay, for being here. We look forward to having Christian Goldsmith reach out, him get his situation and his family squared away so they can be divinely designed, so they can understand they're divinely designed for greatness and have a strategy for divinely design. Okay, Dr. Bay, so say Christian has gone through life so far, and he says, well, what do I need to know my divinely designed plan for? What would you say, Dr. Bay?
Well, that's all a part of training, and it is difficult. See, it's not what we're talking about is not just a da 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 type situation. We're talking about something that involves several things that causes different things to happen. So, because we're talking about something, just to say something, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't mean very much. And it could be accurate or inaccurate. We want accurate, demonstratable wisdom. System that works not sometimes, but all the time.
Okay. Well, how would you share that Christian needs to reach out then?
Get in touch with you.
Okay, Christian at
You can tell him what
trustchristian.com.
he needs to do.
Okay, well, yeah, we can share that with you, Christian at trustchristian.com. And, you know, it's interesting, Dr. Bay, when we talk about trustee training these classes, there's so many people that have reached out. We're just like, okay, well, we're going to make it a point to cap it off. So it is going to be a limited amount of people that we're going to work with on this first round. And we appreciate Dr. Bay for taking his time out of his schedule. So we look forward to hearing the first come, first serve. Christian at trustchristian.com. We look forward to hearing from you. Dr. Bay, appreciate you for coming through once again, sharing your words of wisdom. We know we're going to have a class with you coming up here. It's going to be a Sunday class, so everybody be ready for that. And look forward to hearing from you all. Christian at trustchristian.com. Peace